Welcome to another exciting of the Color Me Poetry today. Today we have a very, very exciting show. We have a young lady here with us who's a youth poet, and she's been writing for quite a while. And her name is Jennifer. Give me your last name, Jennifer.
Luiru. My name is Jennifer Luiru.
Amora?
Luiru.
Luiru, speak up now. And she's been writing. She has beautiful poetry, beautiful book here, and she's in the 7th grade. And let's start with you, Jennifer. Well, first of all, my second guest, Brother Ron. Brother Ron, give me your name.
Ronald Wayne Cook.
Brother Ron Wayne Cook, and he's from the Black Seas Calendar, and they've been around forever, y'all. Okay, and he's here as representative of the Black Seas Calendar. Jennifer, how long you been writing?
I've been writing since I was in 1st grade.
Really?
Yeah, and it really was an inspiration in 1st grade when I was in West Africa when I loved poetry. It was just an instant passion, and ever since then I've been writing poetry.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So was there a spark in you that that made you want to write, or just something that came from the Creator?
Well, when we were in the country Senegal in West Africa, we had a poetry unit, and it was just like an instant spark. I just couldn't stop writing poetry ever since then, and it's just been my passion, and I really love it.
Wow! At a very young age.
Yes.
What age would you say that you actually started?
7 years old.
Wow, that's for me. I started around 7. Really? I ain't 7 now, but I started when I was around. Yeah, really. It was just something that was in me. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. The Creator gives all of us gifts, and it don't matter what age. He just gives us a gift, and you felt that within you, and you said, well, the Creator speaking to me. It's just in you.
Yes.
It was already embedded in you, the gift for words.
Yes.
So when is your birthday?
It's on September 16th.
Oh, September 16th. Okay, Virgo. Detail. That's detail, y'all. Yeah, a lot of detail. And so with your poetry, you started reading back home, and you would share with people. And what kind of response you got from them?
Well, people would say it's really nice, detailed poetry. It has different meanings. People really got emotional sometimes, because my poetry, it varies from nature to just lessons that you can learn in life.
To everything. Wow.
Yeah.
So how's the writing process work for you, Jennifer?
Well, it depends. Sometimes I think about something and then I just use it as a poem, just because it doesn't really have like a certain writing process. It actually kind of depends, because inspiration can come from anything.
Does it come all at once?
No, it doesn't come all at once.
Okay.
So sometimes I'm thinking of what I should write for another poem, and it takes a long time. Other times it just comes really quickly, and
Bits and pieces?
yeah.
And then you put it all together?
Yeah. And I write
Well, now when you write, do you take notes? Like certain ideas may come to you, like in the day, throughout the day?
Sometimes I take notes if I think it can be potentially used as a poem.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. That's beautiful how that happens for you. And so you just, when it comes, you could be doing anything, you just stop and it just hits you like a light bulb come on?
Yeah, sometimes I can. It does.
Now for you, is it life creating art, or art reflecting life? Because that is art. That's a deep question, right?
Yes.
Is it life reflecting art in you, or is it just the other way around?
I think it's art reflecting life, because poetry is an art, and it reflects some people's lives. Because when you read my poems, I want you to reflect on your life, and some of them can have double meanings and can be different for each person.
You play with the language sometimes?
Yes.
Yeah, I do that a lot. Yeah, I do that. I definitely do that. But poetry has definitely been a part of your life.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
So other young people who are doing what you're doing, what would you say to them? Who have that gift? Because sometimes parents or friends or family, community, they don't always understand.
I'd say you have to seize that gift of yours, and you should try something new. Use that gift of yours, and don't let it go for a waste, because you don't know if you will be ever to do the same things again. So, yeah.
So this is your first book.
Yes, it is my first book.
And you stopped and you said, why you wait so long? Now, this book, how did this book come about?
This book, it comes from a variety of some poems from first grade all the way to some latest ones. And these are picked upon what I like, basically. And it's really good poems. It's just...
But it's a compilation.
Yeah, it's a compilation.
All right, we've been talking about poetry. Now I want you to read some and introduce us to the book, the name of the book, and the beautiful cover. Well, we'll get to all of that. But yeah, share something with us.
So, in the silent voice book poetry, I'll read you the first poem.
Let me hold it up, 'cause I want to get a shot of that. Oh man, that's beautiful. And Jen, that's beautiful. Wow.
So the first poem that you'll see is The Runner. I would like to read it to you. I'm not a runner, but always running is me. Along the road where it's sun shining in loads, the sight I see. My feet are not made for running, like running down the road, but my breath is made for stamina, always grabbing to hold. As if I were a cheetah, a racing mind, running, calling for what was once told, or a fox, the silent, hiding the lies once sold. I'm not a runner, but I do run. My thoughts planted skillfully of what's right or wrong, a plan of mine, a runner's mind. I'm a runner, a spider in its lair, waiting for its invaders that lay upon its sun-dropped silk, but then drowned in fresh cow's milk. I'm a runner, opponent of a gambling grump, for I just laugh and swore to succeed. Then and there I had already won. To run by a runner's side, a runner's mind, a blessing that may have occurred, following its steps with your steps, just in a path that you haven't learned. Among the bushes and petals you run, among the swishes and meadows you run. As you step on the stones, all sins alone, among you and your clearing mind you run. As a new path opens, gate wide open, the door of life, for you, a running mind. And as you glance above the clear blue sky, you seek I, a flying's mind, the bird in the sky.
Wow. What made you write that poem, Jen? What were you thinking before you wrote it?
I wanted to think
That's
something about life, something about the struggles of life and how you can...
Wait a minute. Hold on. How old are you?
I am 13.
So deep thoughts about 13. I might have started at 7, but I don't think I was that deep by 13 though. Good God. Woo! From the mouths of babes. Go ahead.
I wanted to think about something about life and how you can reflect on life like this, how you can improve your life. And even though you may not run, you have like a mind that is constantly running. And how you can achieve your dreams by looking up to something and staying and keeping on your goal. And then just getting up to the point where you'll find your mind is very clear, you achieve your goal, and then you find a new one.
You was thinking all of that?
Yes.
Well, now, Brother Ron from Black Seas, now you know you can chime in also.
Yeah, I'm sitting here, just being impressed over and over again. I don't say that lightly, because I know you started very young, door-to-door poetry and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But to know that you did that and to see this sister here talking about she started at that age, and like you said, deep at the age.
At that age.
Wow, boy! I mean, it's just so more impressive about the talents and the gifts, as you call them, that our people have. Man, that's amazing.
And that's why I wanted to have her on. I want to thank Miss my good friend Miss Marilyn Cooper, for introducing me to her and to the family. Because she said she's 13. I said, oh, I got to find a place for her right away. When I heard, because I always like to have young people and give them opportunity, whatever I can to help promote them. Because when I was that age, I was writing stuff, my grandmother, she didn't really understand, I was writing all this stuff and reading, and my grandmother would be like, what's wrong with the boy? She'd be writing all this stuff.
But you got out and made it work, though. Passing around,
and I see that gift in you. You were going to say something?
I want to say thank you for the comments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It really is amazing that sometimes I'm kind of bewildered that I even wrote a book myself. And when I look at my poems, I reflect on them differently every single time because it's truly, I say, a work of art, and people can relate to the poems in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why when I wrote my book, I made sure I put a variety of poems so that people can relate to different poems, like a specific one, and yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. Okay, speaking of poems, I have one I'd like to dedicate to you, young lady. And it's for young people, and it's simply entitled, Because I'm Special. And you are. Believe what I'm telling you. Y'all hear me? She's special. Because I'm special. Because I'm special, I have my sense of self, and it's not for sale. I know who I am, and I refuse to fail. The power of I am is my mind's master key. For the way of the will is a life force in you and me. The sacred source of all life's wealth is simply in how you look at yourself. Because I'm special. I know who I am. I've got the power to succeed. And in the spirit of faith, I've got all that I need. A blessing in disguise, an evidence of things not seen, is a secret of success and the seed of self-esteem. Because I am that I am, there's no way I can let myself down. Hang-ups and setbacks are only stepping stones to higher ground. Because I'm special. I have my sense of self, and it's not for sale. I know who I am, and I refuse to fail just because I'm special. You better know you're special.
That's really good.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's do another poem. Anything of your choice, because you got a lot of poems in that book.
Oh, okay.
And then tell. Well, I'm gonna ask you about it afterwards.
Let us do. Can you do it?
Okay.
Can you do it? A question that is demanded upon your mind. The ongoing test. Feel the pain, or fall among the rest. A path of energy slowly drained, creating regret, the flames. By the second it spreads throughout, the mind and body filled with doubt. Can you do it a second more, or stumble down deep within the earth's core? Painfully crying, will you withstand the push? The thought of pleasure, to take the break just moments away. Breathe in the fire, holding you back, to reach higher, far from your grasp. Be calm with all the pain you saw, embrace the last of your energy. Water's call. For when you're done, wash with reliefs, strengthen belief. Can you do it? Yes, you can.
Wow. So that's inspirational.
Yes.
Wow. What were you thinking?
Can You Do It is a poem about what you're thinking when you're in your mind, when you want to do something, but you clearly think that you can't do it. And then all the emotions that go through your head when you're doing this certain thing, let's just say running a mile, and you want to get this specific time, and you're running as fast as you can, then you think, oh, I can take a rest. It'll be just pleasurable just to take a rest or something. But then it's just going in your mind, can you just do it for a second more? Just reach that goal that you're achieving or want to achieve. And then once you actually achieve your goal, you feel that relief that just washes down on you like water. It just feels clear and you feel proud of yourself.
Wow, that's beautiful. You're so articulate. That's the beautiful thing about it. Brother Ron, I'm going to come to you in a second. But I'm going to share a piece of, which is the namesake of the show, part one, Color Me Poetry. Color me the man that cried I am, and that will be my eternal flame. Color me poetry, for nobody knows my name. I am the middle passage in Arthur. You are me, and I am you. We wear the mask of America, something old, something new. For I am poetry. I am the living experience. I am the lifelong proof. Color me the man. Color me poetry, for nobody. I'm sorry. Can't see. Color me poetry. Color me the poetry of nothing but the truth. Color me a love child lost in the promised land. I am a poem for black hearts going to meet the man. I am not to be sold nor bought, so color me a scholar in the school of thought, for I am poetry. Color me a rose and the thorn, for I am the timeless hopes of dreams yet unborn. I am for my people a portrait of pride. Color me the Negro who speaks of rivers deep down inside, for I am poetry. Let us lift every voice and sing of black and unknown bards of long ago. Color me a song in spite of myself that all the world might know. Color me poetry, for I am poetry.
That's really good.
Thank you. Brother Ron, you work the Black Seeds calendar, and tell us about Black Seeds, and you guys have been around a long time.
Yeah, we've been around a little while, but I mean, I have to admit, but I'm sitting here just taking in what you all are doing. It's really deep, you know.
As deep as she is, one day she's gonna be featured in one of these calendars. I'm telling you, because what you guys do is you research Black historical figures, and sometimes just common people who have done things for the benefit of and upliftment of the Black community. Everywhere. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it could be here or anywhere in the diaspora.
Exactly. I have to give props to where we came from, because what we're
Where
doing,
did you come from?
Well, it's sort of like all history. We're definitely into history a lot, and into Black history specifically. But even our history has its roots in times before us, and it goes back to the history of struggle and organization that our people have always been involved in. And it's not just struggle and organization; it's been creations, creativity, culture, technology, everything.
Yes.
And so our history, in a more recent sense, starts with us being children of the '60s and the '70s, and things were going on around us and affected us. And some of us got involved in student movements and what have you. And even when we were in school, we were talking about, doing things in the community, but we didn't want to leave it as something we just did when we were in school or that kind of stuff. So we decided we wanted to do something in the community, and some of us got together, exchanged some thoughts and ideas about what we might want to do. And starting to organize in the DC area, we wanted to be involved in independent education.
Yes,
because we could see that history and stuff was so important, we needed to pass it on to those who came after us and to share it with our contemporaries.
And you're doing that. They have been doing it for many years.
We've been trying, because as it started out, we knew about things, but we didn't know them well enough. So we said, we're going to share stuff. We got to be serious about it. We got to, like you said, do the research.
Yes, it's well research.
And when we do the research, we don't start like a lot of folks do when, the system, let's call it, when they present us, well, they start with slavery and that kind of stuff. We wanted to go back, like you said, all
beyond
the way back.
Yeah.
We went back and started learning 3,500 years before the birth of Christ, when there was civilization starting in the African area, the motherland, and Nubia and Kush and what have you. And we wanted the history, when we talked about it and share it with other folk, to not only acknowledge and bring information from that period, but from different periods of our history, civil rights, slavery, today, and really, truly historic stuff. And when we started to do it in Washington, D.C., like I said, we wanted to be an independent Black school. We wanted to teach in a formal sense as we could, but not, we didn't see it through the public school system, so we thought independent Black schools.
Yes.
Well, be as it may, I mean, initially we had a number of programs. We had a GED program, adult education program, where we were teaching history and the regular academic stuff. We were doing free clothing programs, health screenings, a number of different things. And as time went on, we saw that there were other independent Black schools in D.C. that were doing very well. The Cat Roots School, Nation House Positive Action Center, Ujamaa School, and they more or less had taken it to another level than we had even thought we would get. So we didn't want to be in competition, so to speak,
with them.
So we sort of, and some of it had to do with, we lost some of our volunteers and some of the other programs we were doing. We couldn't keep it up, so we were trying to think, well, what could we do? What can we do that would be helpful?
Well, let me ask this: how do you decide each year? Because let me grab this. We're talking about it. This is the latest calendar. And this calendar is, these calendars have been, it's been an educational tool. I don't give away. I always keep away my calendar. I always keep my calendars. Every year, I got a stack of them. All these I've been collecting because the historical information that's in there is so pertinent and so well researched. So I just want to open this up real quick. and this show people. Because I know a lot of our people saying, I've talked to this Black Seeds, I ain't never heard it. I mean, that's
Right.
like, how you gonna walk around and say you black and they ain't had no bean pie? You know? Same thing. How you gonna walk around and say you ain't never heard of the Black Seeds calendar as long as you guys have been around? With all this historical information for every month. And so as I'm doing this, how do you decide who you're gonna focus on? That's in January.
Yeah, it's a collaborative process with the volunteers, and we are all volunteers. It's a completely nonprofit volunteer
That's Fannie Lou
organization.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Exactly, that's where I came from. And each year we we ask people to give us ideas. You know, what do you think should be in the calendar? Here and there we get some suggestions, and every time we get a suggestion, we write it down. We don't throw it away if we don't use it. So every year we're looking at new ideas. People give us ideas that we've been researching, and every day of our lives, everything we look at, we're trying to think of what is useful about that we might be able to share with people through the calendar. So when we sit down in February of this year to start thinking about 2021, we start getting a list of options, a list
So
of
you start
possibilities.
now?
Oh yeah, it essentially is a continuous process.
A year-long
By the
process.
time we finish this one, we may have a 3, 4, 5 week time where we're sort of not as busy, but we got to start right away getting the next one together.
Wow.
So yeah, we're in that process now. And a lot of it starts with discussions. If we have 20, 30, 40 ideas, well, what's going to make the final number for the calendar? Because we do want to do something about ancient African history. We want to do something about the struggle pre-slavery, during slavery, civil rights, contemporary stuff.
Okay.
We want to cover the gamut. So when we had the ideas, we want to say, well, what fits here, what fits there, and can we get the research done to provide that information? And we know that sometimes the information isn't that forthcoming. Sometimes we really have to dig, but we don't want to put out stuff that we can't back up with real research about facts.
And that's important.
Yeah. So again, we come down to this decision, and we don't want to, unlike some, and this I don't say this negatively. Some Black History calendars is all personalities. And
Yes,
that's good.
personality. Yeah.
But we want to do personalities. We want to do issues.
Yes.
We want to do events. We want to do contemporary stuff. So it's not going to be 12 months of people.
And that sets you apart. Not there's anything wrong with any of that, because I love the beautiful calendars with, the president and, different people. They even had a Motown calendar and stuff.
Right.
I love all of that. But this is important, too, because you deal, like you said, with issues and history and Black history, and not just starting here in America. And so I see here, for February, you got my good friend and my mentor who's been on this show, Dr. C.R. Gibbs.
Right.
I mean, just a fantastic historian.
Oh, yeah, he is indeed.
Yeah, A1.
Exactly.
He's been on here, so he's going to be with us.
Yeah. And it's interesting you should point him out, because we believe that despite all the magnificent characters we have in our history that people know, from the Malcolms and the Martins and the Harriet Tubmans and all, there are a lot of unsung heroes.
Yes,
there are a
as
lot
well.
of people whose names aren't thrust out there in the public.
And you may never know who they are.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like the fact that you do that.
And so we want to bring to people's recognition, not that they don't know it, but sometimes we don't, really cherish what is around us. That there are people around us who have serious talent, capabilities, and are dedicated to helping us improve ourselves as a people.
Well, let's start with
they aren't always in the
Let's
public
start with our
spotlight.
young guest here.
Exactly.
And that's why she's here, because I wanted to give her some exposure. And she's a young person. She's a writer, poet like myself. I said, I got to have Jennifer on.
That's beautiful.
I mean, really, because
Yeah.
we have to start where we are.
Exactly.
With young people. So when I see young people with a gift, and it's my, I work for I worked for the PG County Public School. And young people would come to me with their poetry. Because they knew, because I would, like sell poems to the teachers in the building. They'd have them in their classrooms. They would have it on the walls, on the windows of the class. And the kids would see them. And they said, well, who is this guy? And the teachers, well, that's Mr. Quay, And so the kids would come to me with their poetry. Mr. Quay, I want you to listen to my poetry. And I'm like, okay. If they see me coming, hey, Mr. Quay. And I would read their poetry to them. And they would always ask me what they think.
Cool.
And so when I think back on it, I think of a young person like Jennifer, because a lot of young people first came to me in high school. They might have been like 15, 14 or something like that. And so when I see her, that reminds me of that because and then some of them, you know, when they left, went on to college and did other great things, and some of them continue their writing. But I like that because that shows that this. I even had young people who were writing poetry stuff, and one young girl, she would come to me and say, "This Queen, you got any books I can read?" I say, "Books you can read." I said, "This is a different kid here." Well, Jennifer, let me ask you: do you read, and how important is reading to you?
Reading is very significant.
Why?
Because you can find so much things in a book. It contains so much ideas. It
Yes.
contains what the author thinks in its mind, and it's just wonderful because in a book, it's just like your own new whole world. It depends in every book. It varies in every different book, and it's quite wonderful to see different stories of that authors can develop. And each book is so different, but they have some same genres, and that makes a book really special. So I really enjoy reading as well.
So when you see a book, you know, when you think of a book, it's like the wings of a bird. You know, take you to a higher place. Look at that. See the wings? Up and up. That's how I think of reading. It's like the wings of a bird. You know, birds flying high that touch the sky. That's the impression I get from reading. You know, and I often ask young people, "What's the latest book you read?"
Latest book I've read. Right now, I'm currently reading a mystery book. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm kind of in that genre.
What's this called? You remember?
The one I'm reading is One of Us is Lying.
Wow. And why you like it?
Well, because it has this mystery and there's
Okay.
twists and stuff. And along with books, I like to read comics as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes. They also have their different stories, and so I've been varying between books and trying to find the genre that I like to read as well. I've read some poetry books as well. See, with poetry, some famous poets wrote.
Do you have any
that-
favorites?
There's one poem called If, and that's a really good poem that I sometimes.
Any favorite poets or writers?
Not really, yeah.
Okay.
There's so much poets out there, and
Yes.
it's rare to see current poets in 2020. There's not that much current poets as there was back then.
Have you read any Maya Angelou or Nikki
Yeah,
Giovanni?
Maya Angelou. I
Maya.
look up to her because she was a famous poet, and
Yes.
her poetry was really influential as well.
You ever read Phenomenal Woman?
No.
Yeah, when you get a chance to read that, oh man, this is beautiful. Yes. So your poetry. Yeah, give us another poem. I'm sitting here.
Okay.
Yeah, just give us something beautiful. Anything of your choice.
I'm gonna go with The Firebird.
Okay.
I am a soft singer, whistling through fingery tries. You stop with no attempt and cry. You listen to my melody as it flies in your ears. As my delicate whisper reaches your frozen face, you feel pain as much as you feel disgrace. And once again, you call for my forgotten name. I'm the one that gives you most pride, most fame. The once again, you think again. But trapped among my tickling toes, I'm not a friend, but a foe. You laugh in greed and pride, in might, and become king, in your own sight, in the dream of a cold one's heart. I grin at the catch of the claw, for I the king after all. And as my cold heart, filled with firing hate, your fate has turned to be my fate. The trap you have fallen in, the sight you haven't seen, for I, the firebird, filled with light and beam, but my spirit and soul unowned, and there I crumble so sudden, so free. For no longer big, no longer sweet, as light as air, so seemingly neat. As you stand blank and bland, walking on 2 feet, life, a danger, a wonder, a trick, you must meet. For then, as you turn your head, an iceberg you greet.
Firebird.
This took a long
Took a long time.
to write. Because this poem is basically about how when you're in life, you're walking down the road of life by yourself, and then you come upon people that trick you, people that give you like they just make your life miserable and stuff. And you think it's all fine and stuff. You come upon a person and you think they're the best person ever, but then there's like this unexpected twist, and you think everything's fine. You think that person's all fine, but then suddenly it just becomes inside out. Everything just turns inside out, and then they take advantage of you. And when they take advantage,
I would think like that at 13. Man.
And when they take advantage of you, just like a firebird, you've fallen into this fire after they just lured you in with their nice voice or something that attracts you, and then but it's like a firebird, it just rains down on you a fire, because then you just feel that heat of yourself burning down into their flames. And so when the firebird leaves, you feel blank, bland. And then as you continue the path or the string of life, you will find wonders, tricks, lies, all through.
That's beautiful. Wow. That reminds me of some people I know. So I'm going to dedicate this piece to them. It's simply entitled, Stop Lying. If you tell one lie, you got to tell two. Then before you know it, lying is second nature to you. When there's no foundation or truth on which to stand, living a lovable lie is like walking on quicksand. And there ain't no way naked truth can ever fly on the wings of a well-dressed lie. Because if you tell one lie, you got to tell two. Then before you know it, lying is second nature to you. A lie told in the truth is not something you can defend, because truth crushed the earth will always come up again. So let the truth be your guide and your lust to tell a lie, and you will find that you can stop it if you try. For if you lie to yourself, you'll lie to any and everybody else. And there ain't no way naked truth can ever fly on the wings of a well-dressed lie. Because if you tell one lie, you got to tell two. Then before you know it, lying is second nature to you. Stop lying. Brother Rod.
Y'all put so much in words. It's sort of like all of that's in there, right? I mean, a lot of stuff in which both of you are saying. I mean, it's sort of like you read it on a page. It's sort of like it's so much more and deep.
Yes.
That's truly the beauty of poetry, because you can put so much things, so much life lessons into one small scripture that you can read, and people can reflect on it in different ways. Because like your poem Stop Lying, you can think of all the times you have lied and think and be like,
me? I ain't never lied.
Of yourself.
We all have told. I've told a little teeny one here and there.
Or how you've lied in your life, and then when you reflect on that, people will think, oh wow, that is true, that after one lie you'll say a second lie, and then you'll end up lying to yourself. And so the beauty
I eat Trump.
Yes, sir.
And so when you're writing poetry, it's just truly a beauty to fit so much things, life lessons, for people to reflect on themselves in life in one tiny scripture.
So you played with the words as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like playing with my words.
Wow.
Because playing with my words allows me to come up with something that people can.
That's unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People can look at it differently. Some people won't understand, but they have to like look truly deeply inside the poem to unlock what's actually there.
So what is the job of the poet?
I say the job of the poet, well, for me, or my goal, is to get this poetry to reach out to people of the world, so then people can look at their lives and better themselves.
See the world in a different light.
Yeah, see the world in a different light that is usually not represented.
Wow. Now that's beautiful. Now, Brother Ron, in the sense with the Black Seeds calendar, that's your goal as well.
Yeah, I'm
the
thinking,
image.
Yeah,
of
I'm
black
thinking
people.
as I hear her talking, as I hear you talk as well. It's that's definitely it.
Yes.
You know, it's when you have a narrative that's for so long has said, you know, you're no good, you're a slave,
Less
you're less than, that you
Marginalized.
can't do and
Yeah.
all that. When the narrative is like that all the time, We need to fix that.
Yes.
We need to be honest about what it really is, because one of the things we try to do in the calendar, we want to tell you the great things that we've done. But we also want to say we've made some mistakes along the way, or maybe we should have done this a little different. And we don't want to preach. We want to say, look at what history says to us. We can learn things from it. And if we've learned from the good stuff, let's do that learning, but also learn from the things where we might have been a little short or might have made some mistakes, because the impact of what we do is that we want to make things better for all of us, for ourselves, for our families. And when we do that, we uplift the race. We uplift all of our people.
That's the point of what you do with Black Seeds. That's the
what
point
we're
of what
trying
you're doing with this beautiful poetry, to make things better,
Yeah.
to make people see the world in a different light, something different, to think about it in a different way, and therefore act on it.
Yeah.
Now with the Black Seeds calendar, this year, with this year's calendar, I mean, this look like y'all just went to a whole nother level, cause it's slick.
Yeah.
You got the glossy cover. Who does the cover? Who does the printing and stuff?
Zama.
And how do you choose the cover?
Yeah. The cover, again, as a matter of fact, I have to give credit. The last few covers for our calendar mostly come from the brother who does our graphics, layout, and design. That's Zama with Survival Filmworks.
Okay.
Matter of fact, for all of our calendars, he's done the design, the layout, and some of the photography and the graphics. So he's had a hand in a lot of it. Now, what we do also is, like, we come up with ideas and we suggest things to Zama, but he makes them reality. He makes that cover because we might have said, this or that and put something on it. Sometimes covers are covered by things like this. It's dedicated to the Black Panther Party. Or that one that has the pictures and flags of Africa.
Yeah, all around the world.
So there's certain themes sometimes to the cover that we work out. Sometimes I said we don't have a final definition. Zama will take his creativity and survival film work, and he'll make it work for us.
Wow.
And you're right. The fact that there was a time, let me see if I got one of them here. There was a time, you're saying we've come a little way. There was a time when I don't have one of the very oldest one here, but we had very flat covers.
It was a black and white then.
Right, basically it was black and white. The covers were flat, but yes, now we have the nice shiny cover, the good feel of the paper, and everything in color, and it's made a lot of difference. But that's 43 years worth of work.
43 years.
43 years worth of work. So we've learned over that time and tried to improve the product in terms of not only its appearance but its content. Because the content goes from starting out in the front with pledge to our people, a black pledge, the Black National Anthem, all the way through the contents. And one of the things we like to try to do when we say we're not just focused on big name folk, people in the book list. We have an extensive black book list.
Yes,
we have
that's
black
true.
facts throughout the calendars. And then on top of that, we have personalities and issues in the calendar. So we want to use all those instruments to try to bring people in that folks may not otherwise know about.
Ron, that's one thing I forgot. You guys get the black, the book list in the back. So I tell you what, before we leave, we're going to run through, I know we have time to go through all of them, but we're going to run through some of those books.
Okay.
Of your choice.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So, speaking of creativity and play on words, this is the piece that I did some years ago for a friend of mine who kept getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. When you gonna write a poem for me?
Oh,
I
like
said, girl, I
that.
ain't got time to be bothered with. So her birthday came around, and her name was Candace.
Okay.
And so I said, well, I see if I can write something nice for you. She was kind of cute, so I said, I'll write something nice.
Yeah.
And so her name was Candace. So I said, well, what can I write that could be really just nice for her birthday, for her alone? And so I came up with this poem entitled Chocolate City Candy. And with yesterday being Black Love Day, that's what we call it.
That's
Also
right.
call it Valentine's.
That's right.
But we call it Black Love Day. So this poem is Chocolate City Candy. Just the taste of you makes my life so complete. Learning to love you is a special treat. The little loving things you do forever makes your honey sweet. Your good and plenty loving just knocks me off my feet. You're my sugar baby, peppermint patty pearl. My M&M plain, Chocolate City candy girl. My lifetime lifesaver, Fifth Avenue, Lovers Lane Park. My butterfingered whatchamacallit, set sweetness in the dark. Now and later you'll always be my Mary Jane, my baby Ruth, my mountains of balm and joy. Chocolate, honey, sweet tooth. Let me be your payday, sugar daddy galore. Your 100 grand, Mr. Goodbar for sure. And when you turn on your total Tootsie Roll charms, your chocolate cherry kisses make me melt in your arms. You're my sugar baby, peppermint patty pearl. My M&M plain, Chocolate City. some candy, girl.
Oh, Lord. Somebody was melting in the hearing that coming at him, boy. I swear.
So, Jennifer, so that's one of my examples of playing on words. And then playing on the,
That's lovely.
it was like 32 different candy bars.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was trying to do something creative that she would like.
I'm sure she was
Yeah,
blown
she
away
really
by
loved
that,
it.
brother.
Yeah. But she married somebody else, though.
Well.
Yeah. So when you play on words, is it fun?
Yes.
You just using the art form?
Yeah, so it's really fun to play with words, especially because sometimes I play with words myself and I kind of don't understand
Wow.
because it's just it's just there and you just
Yes.
want to play with words.
Because it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have the choice with poetry to play with words because it's fun for people not to understand. And
Yeah,
then,
the double meaning?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
double meaning, and then they have to look into it themselves to actually find what the words are trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because each poem has their own voices that they want to reflect onto each different human being.
Wow. Now let's do another piece, but I also want to look on the back of the book. What's the back of the book say?
The back of the book, it has a picture of me.
Wow. You were younger in that picture. Like
Maybe
what, 7?
11.
11?
Yes,
Oh,
11
okay.
years old.
Wow, that's a beautiful picture.
So this is like the preview. It says, "At night I close my eyes, sounds come to me. These are not dreams but very real. Words vibrate in me, in my heart, in my mind, and in my soul. They're so present, so tenuous, but so beautiful and full of emotions that I will have to share them. That's why when they will shine, that's when they will serve. Make them yours." And then they just have some of my information about the author. Yeah.
Now, you recently did a reading at NAACP,
Yes.
with breakfast, prayer breakfast?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was good. It was a pleasure for me to share my poems to the people and to give them a glimpse of what my book is about.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we want to thank them as well. And I want to thank Ms. Cooper for introducing me to you. I'm so glad you were there, because I might have not met you. Yeah, that's the beauty. Another piece, young lady.
Another piece.
Yes.
So I'm going to try doing one of my older poems.
Okay. Older poems? All of them seem older to me. From an old soul. Does she seem like an old soul further around?
Yes, sir. I was thinking about those
man.
exact words earlier. You know,
The old soul.
So,
You hear people say that?
no.
You never heard that phrase before?
No.
It means-
Wise, articulate, way beyond
On your
ears.
ears. Yeah, that's what it means.
Yeah.
Yes, old soul.
This one's called The Silence.
I call it young old head.
So this one's called The Silence, and if you could look at the poem, it actually spells S-I-L-E-N-T.
Oh, how clever.
Silent.
Oh, you playing on, you better look out, girl, with your bad self.
So this is a bit older, so. Sitting in the silence where winds whistle and flowers fly, in a place where bees bloom and blossoms bloom. Little lanterns are lit outside, I see, extraordinary things to seek. Now owls get out of their nests, telling stories to young ones with silence around me.
Wow, silence.
Yes.
There's power in silence, isn't there?
Yes, and like my book is called The Silent Voice because sometimes we have to embrace the silence and think and reflect on among ourselves as a being and what can we do to improve our lives. And so there's so many things you can hear when just sitting in the silence, like the animals, what they do, when you can even think of what they're thinking. So this poem was just about the silence and the beauty.
Sometimes, in other words, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but sometimes it seems to me silence speaks louder than words.
Yes.
Speak volumes, if you will. There's power in silence.
There is power.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes unknown, but there is power in silence.
Wow, and knowing when to say certain things and when not to.
Yeah.
Yeah. that's the
Especially
beauty.
because, let's say you have something to share, and then if you have that silence in you, that power that's holding you back, then you may not share out the beauty that you want to share.
That's beautiful. Brother Ron, what would you say about the power of silence? Because sometimes, some people just talk just to hear themselves talk.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed, and it's interesting because sometimes when we are doing our planning for calendars and stuff, sometimes we have to tell ourselves to be quiet, just to sort of like soak in things around us, rather than, because we don't want to speak so much that sounds like I used the word earlier, preaching. We didn't want to sort of like feel like we were throwing things at people, and we wanted to. You sometimes have to sit back. Sometimes just to figure, well, what's a better way to do this, or to communicate what you want to communicate.
Yes.
And one of our this is interesting. I never even thought about it like this before. One of our commands for silence in Black Seeds is to try to keep every article that we write for 500 words or less, so that we don't get people too much stuff or throw out so much stuff and go too far.
People.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
I never even thought about that before, but that to me is a kind of silence, to step back a little bit. Don't go too far. Give yourself some room to let things sort of soak in on
The power of silence. Wow. That's so interesting, because I went to see a lecture. I went to a lecture some weeks ago, and then the speaker was a great speaker, but he went too far.
Is that right?
And then, it's like a pail of water. And once it's full, then you start to lose people. So you have to know when to stop. That's also the power of silence.
Yes.
Oh man, that's a deep part for someone your age.
She continues to surprise.
Yes. Okay. Before we have to go, Brother Ron, give us a contact, how we can get in touch with you, and tell people about the Black Seeds calendar. People who may want to purchase one, or people who maybe want to come and volunteer.
Okay. Our telephone number directly is 202-398-4104. That's 202-398-4104. You can reach us by email, blackseeds1@netscape.net, and that's BLACKSEEDS, the numeral 1, at netscape.net. And we can put you in touch with us, of course. We want to volunteer, which we'd love to have that kind of help. And we'd also like, this is one of the things a lot of folks don't understand when they call us sometimes. We want to sell you a calendar, because that's part of our self-reliance.
Yes.
All of our sales go back into the next year's calendar. That's how we practice self-reliance. But you likely to buy a calendar from a store than from us, because we want you to go to the Black stores. We want you to go to Secrets of Nature. We want you to go to Nisi's Boutique, or to the Jama bookstore, Sankofa Books, and buy from them, and look at what else they have in there to offer folk. Because we want to support each other in that way, and also continue our self-reliance and help other people.
So very quickly, I want you to give like 5 books that are on the book list in the back.
Okay.
Then I'll add mine to that.
Okay. But only because it's the first one on the list here. It's a newer one. Actually, it's not new, but it's something we had this year. The Black Panther Party Reconsidered by Charles Jones.
Okay.
A Garveyite Whirlwind by Senghor Jawara Bey, who's in the UNI and has been in that organization for a few decades.
Okay.
It's a brand new book as well. Simone Visits the Museum by Kelsey Blackmore.
Okay.
And finally, Black Fortunes, the first 6 African Americans who escaped slavery and became millionaires. So we have, several different categories: general history, children, autobiography.
And how many titles in total?
I think we got about 200.
About 200 now?
Yeah. There's an exact number.
Okay, now, Jennifer, I want you to add your book to that list. Tell us who you are and tell us about the book.
So you can go purchase your own book on Amazon, and it's called The Silent Voice Book Poetry. And then you can either search up my name or The Silent Voice Poetry. Go put on your review and go get yourself a copy, because it really would truly support me, and it'll inspire me to get my second book working.
Yes, yes, that's beautiful.
Yes, and so thank you, everyone.
So y'all go out and buy that book.
Yeah.
I'm Danny Queen, and this is my latest book. It's simply entitled The Book of Tributes, and it's a collection of poems, selected poems that I've. It's a tribute to many people in our community. A lot of Dr. Francis Cress Wells, and a lot of people. There's the music section, there's sports, there's food for thought. There's several different sections. So you can buy my book also on Amazon, but you can also buy from me directly. Praise the Lord. I also sell through PayPal, and I sell also through Cash App. And it's Poet Danny Queen 202-251-7743. And thank you for coming. And I want to take this time. I want you to have this young lady and take it with you.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
And it's just nice having you here. And we look forward to having you back. Give us your name again quickly.
I'm Jennifer Luiru.
Jennifer Luiru. And Brother Ron.
Ronald Wayne Cook with Black Seeds.
Black Seeds Calendar. I thank you both for coming and sharing with us here
Thank
today
you.
on Color Me Poetry.
Thank you,
I'm
brother.
Danny Queen. This is Color Me Poetry. Until next time, Color Me Poetry. I am, I can, and I will. Love, peace, and poetry. I'm out.